Oh, yes, I sent it to Barbara. And
Okay, folks, we're going to get started. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First, we'll call the meeting to order, and again announce that we have an executive session tonight, May 6th at 6:30, to discuss personnel. No, Brian, I'm not prepared to say anything other than that.
Thanks for thinking it, Brian.
Next, the approval of the minutes of April 15th meeting is in order.
I move to approve the minutes from April 15th to 19th as submitted.
I'll second the motion. Any comments from the audience? Sarah?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I just noticed the question under Tim Canavy's resolution of approval. It says there being no comments or questions. There were no comments and questions perhaps before the motion passed, but there was the question of the engineering bills. So shall I wait and bring that up in public comment?
It's a perfect time to mention that.
Okay. I thought it should have been mentioned in the minutes since it was an open, we'll get back to you question, but
So how to best to handle that?
It does say Mr. Canady questioned the engineering bills.
down at the bottom.
Yeah.
See, folks, we actually got one right.
Is this, okay, and you said you would get back to it.
I'm working with him right now, we're reviewing them.
We don't have an answer now.
I have the zoning and engineering fees, so we're talking about, I have all the detailed items to attach with each bill, each hour, so I have all the work items, so I'm just going through the scope of them, so.
Great, thank you.
So will we hear about that next month?
Whether Tim's satisfied
next-
with that?
No, what the answer was, why it took 11 hours for a single lot
I can
line
write
change.
detail, that's fine.
I thought that was the answer at the
Just-
last meeting, was you were gonna get back to the public
Okay.
about why he received those bills.
I think, I mean, I can give a little bit. There were some questions on the nature of the property. There was, I think, a review for the historic overlay. His property is not, but I think an adjoining property was. So Tracy was reviewing that. And I think there were just a few reviews that I think were questioned and not be necessary, but the zoning officer felt that it was necessary. So I think it's between that. But specifically, I am working with him on that, so
More to come.
that's fine.
Yeah, from here to
Okay.
things.
Any other questions on the minutes? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Next is, if I was keeping normally, I would just skip over the manager's report and go to the bills list, but tonight I'll get it right. Manager's report, please.
Thank you. I know I report on plans quite a bit. The comprehensive plan, though, is in a draft form now, and it is being reviewed by Chester County's Planning Commission. The schedule right now is that it'll be slated for presentation to municipalities in June, with adoption looking at late summer. So we'll keep monitoring the activity there. I know this is a good time to clean up our properties and the hazardous household waste residential events. We have our schedule on the township website. One that is coming up that's close by is at O.J. Roberts Middle School, and that's on Saturday, May 18th. It's from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. If you're not sure about what items you can recycle, just give us a call. We can point you in the right direction on that. The community garden is still open for registrations. We do have at least 20 registrants that had indicated they'd be willing to pay a surcharge as part of the capital investment for a water hookup with Aqua. So we're going to be proceeding with that and getting some quotes necessary for that work to take place here and handle that. So that's some progress there. The EAC and the Audubon Society are co-sponsoring a Designing with Natives backyard workshop, and it'll be held here at the Township Building on Saturday, May 11th, and that'll be from 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. This event is free to the public. You get some tips on how to design your backyard with native species, look at stormwater runoff, bring birds and butterflies and all the wonderful things of maintaining a backyard in your own property. So if you're interested in that, we are still looking for participants. So please let us know. Save the date again for our Festival in the Park, second annual. It is scheduled for Saturday, June 8th, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. at Evans Park. We will have a 5K on the morning of that of the Festival in the Park. That's at 8 a.m. So if you're interested in all those things, if you want to volunteer, we need volunteers very bad. Sponsorships, of course. Anyone to participate, contact Maria, contact the township staff, will get you hooked up. The next day is the French and Pick Iron Tour, of course, which will take place throughout the township. So it's going to be a packed weekend. French and Pickering Creeks Trust conducted a cleanup event at the Weatherston Open Space on April 27th. We're very thankful for everybody that has come out to help spruce up all of our open spaces. The Parks and Recreation Commission is also seeking volunteers to serve as trail ambassadors, as we talked about Brinco Ed Park and the updates from last month. If you're interested, just send your information to me. I am working on getting some flyers together, some guidelines, so that if you are interested, we can provide something with the expectations of volunteering. And we'll also have a release for you, son. Natural Lands held its opening day celebration of their Brinco Ed Preserve on May 5th. They had a nice dinner on May 4th to kind of celebrate how tremendous this campaign has been. It was very nice. And they will be open dawn to dusk. And of course, if you have not seen, they have guidelines for all their trail use and all the good Q&A on their website. I also participated as township manager, the Chester County Township Manager, planning symposium that we held recently at West Goshen Township. At that meeting, I know there was the Chester County Open Space Summit, took place later that day on May 2nd. And Chester County has noted 28.8% preserved. It's 140,000 acres, and that's an increase of 3,700 acres since last year. I know the Open Space Review Board is working very hard on mapping the township, and we're looking at a projection of about 40% of the township as being preserved. So it's a lot of good data out there. So the county is going to be providing us their updated mapping for West Vincent here shortly. In the Building and Zoning Department, we have 22 permit applications processed. We have a lot of activity coming up here. We've had several meetings on getting Wawa, helping Hankin get their construction underway, as well as the second phase with the residential and commercial. They'll be starting construction probably early next week on that. Sunderland Avenue, construction also underway, and they're very busy. They've placed the culvert needed as part of that road extension, and they're really trying to get done by fall, weather permitting, of course. In finance, our year-to-date reports for March and our treasurer's report are complete. The 2018 audit presentation will be scheduled hopefully for the next month, or next meeting this month. In the Public Works Department, our crews conducted regular vehicle, facility, and road maintenance. Lots of potholes being filled, grading of roads, and ditching and preparing for paving this year. We also have been cleaning up Brinco Ed and looking at all the trees and brush and things that need to be cleared up for prepping that. The crew met with, and also I won't forget Evans Park. Lots of good work on the trails too, and maintenance. Staff completed the installation of a swale, which was part of our responsibility for Flint Road, trying to close out that project. And in May, the crew will be preparing for our roads for ditching shoulders, adding two-way stone, and addressing drainage issues. Wetlands delineation is done now on Buttonwood Lake Bridge as we continue that project. And Jay Lane is in design with some final steps here we're trying to get done this month. Thank you.
Could you just fill us in, is there any update on the Sunderland Avenue, what that's going to do for school buses?
Sure, I certainly can. I was part of a meeting with the Creekside HOA, as well as Toll Brothers and the O.J. Roberts Operations and Facility Director. And we discussed the issue of O.J. Roberts and busing, having a bus stop and serving that Creekside HOA without having Sunderland Avenue complete, because it's quite the loop. And they also, O.J. Roberts, as part of their policy, does not take buses on undedicated roads because of insurance requirements. But they are able, after inspecting the roads that serve Creekside, to come up with an agreement that will essentially sign off their responsibility if something would happen, because the roads are in very good condition right now. So we've come to terms with that. They're working out an agreement now. I don't think it's in place quite yet, but I know they're working on it.
Thank you. Any questions for Erica? Seeing none, we'll move on to the bills list. Tonight's bills list include, the township bills list is $97,315.43. The reimbursable bills list is $23,451.18. The subdivision utility plant bills list is $10,023.38. The three bills list total $130,789.99.
I move to approve the bills list dated May 6, 2019, for a total amount of $130,789.99.
I'll second motion.
Any questions on the bills list? Marty?
I have one question here. Comcast cable in the garage. Why isn't Verizon, or why aren't they both the same?
Well, Comcast is serving for our internet. So, let me check into that for you. Yeah. Okay.
Because it was done before with the previous administration.
Okay, all right. I have no issue taking a look at it. Okay.
Why you need two vendors on the same,
Actually, you know what, our township treasurer is taking a good look, she's not here quite yet, good look at some of those, our telecommunications, so noted.
all right,
Thank you.
fine, thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Next is the treasurer's report. Are you back up again, Erica?
That's fine.
She's gonna earn her money tonight.
All right. Very good. Okay, so as far as the finances for really the quarter, right now, we are in line as far as the revenues are concerned for our real estate tax. The EIT we're still monitoring. I had mentioned that we had a property owner who substantially helped benefit the township through that. As we bring in new property owners, we'll see a higher increase in our transfer taxes and also see that EIT level out a little bit. But we are definitely going to monitor that. On the treasurer's report, you'll note the percentage of change if you'd like to see it by detail. Otherwise, our building department and public safety income really falls in line with the variability of our building permits. As I mentioned with Wawa and Phase 2, that's really, we're going to see that activity reflected in those revenues. Sewer income is certainly, when you look at last year, we're only looking at Courts of Chester Springs at this point, and our capital interest is a new item. So we are, for our quarter, on track with the budget right now. And what you'll notice then when we look at the expenditures for the year, we're a little less than last year at this time. And so it's variable based off of, certainly infrastructure projects, road projects, and some things that invoice at different times of the year. So we always like to look back, track, see where we are. We had, as far as building a plan, we had a few things to address for the past few months that we have and took care of, so you'll see some variance there. You can just track overall that we're performing fine for a 3-quarter period. On the next page, you can denote our fund accounts and the balance of our various funds. In total, we have $10,344,529.45. We're on track as far as the open space revenues, and all of our funds are earning good interest at this point. On the last page, you'll have the budget to actual summary by each fund. This is really a good snapshot to make sure you have a test of how well are you doing right now, and making sure that you're in line with proportion of the budget. So we have here for year-to-date, our revenue at $826,209.07, with our expenditures at $961,360.14. For the general fund, that's very much in line with the first 3 months of townships, because you're trying to wait, or you're not trying to, but you're waiting for your real estate taxes to come in. And then in terms of the capital fund, we're right there in terms of bringing in the revenue from our interest, spending on the preparation of our road projects this year. Same with open space, we're in line, liquid fuels, just right, and then our sewer fund is Court to Chester Springs. So that's the budget, or the treasurer's report for the month.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
And we're end of the first quarter. How much do you expect to spend this year on road improvements?
Combined with the capital fund? Is that what you?
Yes.
Okay. It would be about $1 million.
Does that include all the design
Yes.
that's for Janie Lane
We
and the bridge?
may be able to do more, and it's contingent on things like J.D. Lane and Buttonwood.
That would be music to not only my
I
ears,
know.
but a bunch of the people out in the audience, I'm sure.
That's why the budget, the capital fund is $1.5 million.
Just
so,
gotta-
just to
gotta
give
start
that.
doing those projects at a faster clip.
Yeah. We're rolling. But yes, we have significant money to spend. Got to get all that survey permits, everything lined up, design. Yes. But committed to be out to bid right now, $1 million.
Any other questions from the audience?
I have a question. Under the capital fund, under monthly budget amount, it has $133,000 on the revenue, and we brought in 21. I guess that's interest, but why is it so high?
You know what? I'll have to take a look at that.
It'd be nice if we're earning that
I
kind of
know.
interest, but
It would.
it seems a little high.
Got it.
Any other questions for her? Seeing none, we'll move on then. Erica, the next item on mine is an announcement that you want to introduce our new roadmaster, Reggie Roy, who's sitting in the front row.
Sure.
Reggie, thanks for coming out.
Yeah. No, thank you. It's a good opportunity. Reggie Roy is the township's roadmaster, and you've been here now, what, almost 2 months? Maybe not. Oh, yeah. But no, it's good to put, a face with the name, and Reggie's really been certainly learning the lay of the land and all the various, roads, bridges, everything, facilities in the township under the Public Works Department. So, Reggie, I don't know if you want to just say a few things about maybe your,
Not one.
yeah, absolutely.
No, not really.
Oh, okay, no, that's all right.
We didn't realize you were shy during the interview process.
No, you're getting a lot of things done, and, I know we appreciate it, so, it's not just, it's facilities in general, right? It's everything that, goes into managing a township, so our department heads and, the engineer and our attorney, we have to be in step with a lot of important projects, so thanks for what you're doing, and we'll just keep it up.
So if he's not going to take to the microphone after the meeting, please go up to him, introduce yourself, tell him what road you're to live on and what the problems with that road are.
And we have money to spend.
So is he Public Works Department? The introduction says roadmaster, but you just said it included all of those things.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna change that. Naming, Public
Road-
Works. But he'd still
Roadmaster
be a
of the
road-
Public Works
of-
Department. Yeah,
Okay, so you're
Yes.
still the Public Works Department?
yes,
Oh,
yes,
cool,
yes, it's all encompassing.
cool.
All right.
Okay, we're going to move on, and the next thing is under the subdivision land development.
I move to authorize the reduction of bond number sign BP 00575790091 for Toll Brothers. Sutherland Avenue release number 1 in the total amount of $441,939.16 for site improvements.
I'll second the motion.
Any comments from the audience?
What did they get done?
Brian, what's that?
What's for Brian?
Yes, Brian?
We're releasing the money. What part of the project is complete at this point?
The first part.
Can you put some more color with that, John?
Oh, it's just site improvements, right?
Yeah,
It's basically site improvements.
Yeah, a lot of earthwork. The culvert itself is a huge part of that, and it has been set. If you take a drive down Eagle Farms Road and kind of check it out, there's a lot going on. It's quite the situation with the wetlands, and they're all diverted properly at this point, and the actual road paving should take place within a month or so. But the entire bond is 1.2 million.
So we're releasing about $500K at this point.
441, would be 850 left.
Close enough,
Yeah.
okay. I'm assuming these come in more stages. Do we have stage 2 as well as the final?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Any other questions? Then I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And thank you for getting the letter. That
Of
just
course.
makes me feel comfortable.
Yes.
More comfortable. Next item is the request for subdivision extension for the 16 years LLC.
I move to approve the subdivision extension request for 16 years LLC until June 30, 2019.
I'll second the motion.
Any comments from the audience on this one? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Next, under new business, a request to reduce the required yard setback for an agricultural building at 1411 Hilltop Road by Eric and Shelley Ra.
I make the motion to approve the relief of the required 100-yard setback from all property lines for the agricultural building per section 2220 of the zoning ordinance for 1411 Hilltop Road.
I'll second that motion.
Hi, is someone here that would like to, would you mind coming up to the microphone and explaining what you're...
Eric, we pronounce our last name Ray,
I apologize.
no worries. And my wife Shelley is here, 1411 Hilltop Road. We're requesting a variance of the 2220 section of the code for agricultural buildings, which requires a 100-foot setback from all sides of the property. Our property is pie shapes. We would prefer to put the barn in the rear, which is consistent with what our neighbors have done, but we don't have the dimension across the back. As we pull the barn forward, it gets awfully close to our house. So we are maintaining the 100-foot rear setback, 100-foot setback on the one side, well over 100 on the front. I think the documents that we've provided show you both photos of the property and also the Chester County topographic survey. Where we want to put the barn is the high point, and we've learned, having made a few freshman farmer mistakes, that's where we want to put the barn. So that, in combination with the fact that we'll be at least 200 feet from all the houses, the pastures are all fenced, and all the other requirements. This is not a commercial operation, it's a residential accessory use. So from our perspective, this seems like a good case, but recognizing the neighbors might have a say, we also provided a letter from our neighbor on the property immediately adjacent to where we're requesting the variance, indicating no objection to the granting of this variance.
That's easy.
How large is the barn going to be?
It's about 1,000 square feet. It's 24 by 34 with an overhang, which in terms of covered area is 1,056. We should also mention we received our stormwater approvals from Arrow on Friday.
Bernie, any questions?
No, I read through it earlier, and I'm fine with it. I've had the same situation on my property, a little bit of pie shape. I know we
No,
all
I'm perfectly fine with it, especially the neighbor that's affected has no problem with it.
Yes.
The only, and I have got no problems with this, but the only thing that I could add is, I don't like leaving our planning commission out of their job. Is there anybody here from the planning commission? George,
We haven't seen
would you feel slighted if we just went ahead and approved this?
this. I can only speak for myself, but I wouldn't.
You wouldn't feel slighted? Well, since it sounds like I'm gonna be overvoted anyway, we might as well make it unanimous for you. Any comments from the audience? Then, all those in
John?
favor? Yeah. There's always one in a group, isn't there?
Look, can just a different way. Why wasn't this routed through planning commission initially? Because it sounds like you're doing everything right. I don't think I've ever seen a presentation or heard a presentation being as complete and looked at from all the aspects before. But is there some reason why it didn't get shot through the planning commission?
It's not necessary.
Yeah,
right?
it's just not prescribed in the ordinance. These are conditions, just as we had actually recently with another applicant, two other
Sure, yeah.
applicants. Yeah, where in the zoning ordinance, it's at the discretion of the board, and it doesn't say you have to do X, Y, Z. I think when the board wants more information, it's perfectly fine to ask any one committee for their input at any time.
Okay.
But if they have sufficient information to go by, it's at their discretion.
In other words, like normally we hear John say that it go through or went through the
Sure.
plan. But in this case, it's the board decides whether to kick it out to them again. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, I just, in general, feel that that's the planning commission, that's their job, but this one's much like the Miller one, although on different circumstances, the Miller property that we did, they own all the adjoining property, so he's doing it against himself. But I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So there you go.
Thank you.
And will you talk to George Martin, find out his thoughts on these in the future?
I think it's a wise thing to discuss.
Next is a request for donation for French and Pickering Trust Iron Tour.
I make the motion to approve $1,000 donation for the French and Pickering Trust Iron Tour, June 9th, 2019.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
How come we only see you when we're...
When I want money.
Any questions from the audience? I thought we tied this into a bigger donation for the entire...
That's a different one.
Okay.
We can discuss that, though, if you'd like.
You never know, Pam, you never know. Any questions from the audience? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Aye.
As always, no.
Some things never change.
Thanks,
There you go,
most
Pam.
of you.
And he's really not that bad of a guy.
I
Next
just
one.
don't like spending taxpayers' money on things I don't think are appropriate,
Yes, I get that, and you're right.
especially charity.
Next, number 9, on tonight's agenda is a resolution to appoint a zoning hearing board alternates. Do we have two? Two alternates to appoint? Or one?
Two.
Gentlemen, how would you like to proceed?
Well, it's there, I'm fine with it. Should we look at it?
No. Oh, and I read their resumes, yes.
Right. But there's a motion there, are you fine with that motion?
I didn't, yeah,
Did
here it
we
is.
talk about those?
Yes, I'm fine with the motion.
Yeah, I think I,
Then go ahead and read the motion.
Oh, me? I make the motion to appoint John Sullivan as zoning hearing board alternate to fill an unexpired term ending 12/31/19, and Chelsea Fitzpatrick Bailey as zoning hearing board alternate to fill an unexpired time ending 12/31/20.
I second.
Any comments from the audience? Seeing none, and you're making it easy on us tonight. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unless I'm missing something, we're off to the public comment on non-agenda items. Anybody? John?
I'll say something. I live on the dirt road part of Hilltop Road, and it's sort of in better condition now than it's ever been. And I would say part of Janie Lane is in better condition than I've ever seen it, so.
Have you been down to the lower part of Janie Lane?
Pardon?
The lower part of Janie Lane looks like an eyesore.
Well, you mean,
Looks like an eyesore.
Yeah.
you're at Bertrand you're talking about.
It's better.
Yeah, well,
There's still a big dip in there. If some of the culverts were open, you might
Gotta be.
get away from that.
Thank you. Any
Oh,
other?
yeah, where the state part,
yeah. the
it
state road,
is
yeah.
an eyesore.
Yes. Maria?
And this is from Parks and Rec, and when we were at Parks and Rec 2 months ago, we talked about perhaps asking you folks for like 2 4x4s, that we might be able to string banners up at the corner of 401 and St. Matthews, temporary banners for when we have events. I think we have a 5K coming up, we'd love to be able to put up something, just to announce things that are occurring in the township, as reminders. Not as a permanent signage, but a lot of townships do have permanent signage that allows, events that you're advertising to be advertised. So I would just like to know whether we could get, 2 4x4 posts put up so that we can string a banner out on the corner.
I must say with that.
So you want us to be in violation of our own sign ordinance?
Well, I think that we might need something, but I don't know what that is. I'm not the
check that out with-
Sure, yeah, that was.
I mean, as long as
that's
the
a great
design
idea.
store is up.
Yeah, well, we're just a few weeks away, really almost a month away from the festival in the park, so I'd like to invite everyone to attend. It really starts at 8 a.m. 8 a.m. for the race?
Yep.
8 a.m. for the race, which is the night after graduation for O&J, so it'll be a little hairy. But if you, want to strap on some shoes and run, we'd really like you to sign up through Chester County Running Store. We have it on our link on wvtfestival.com. And then from 1 to 5, there's lots of stuff going on. If you're involved in a local and a township commission and you haven't signed up for a table, we need you to do that as well. So we get all of our tables under the big tent taken care of. There will be blow-ups this year for the kids, bouncy house and obstacle course and stuff. We have a huge car show attending. We have goat races and cow plop bingo. So if anyone has a place to put a sign up, I have some posters. So if you're in a community that you have a community room, you might be able to put a sign up for me, that would be great. So thank you.
Eric, do you have a comment on that, Bernie, the question is?
For the signs?
Yes.
Oh, I can look at presenting what it entails. I don't think the 2x4s and a sign would be too difficult,
I
right?
don't think we need to vote on it either, it seems like a management issue to me,
Yeah,
so.
that's fine.
So
That's fine.
we can leave
Sure.
that in your hands?
Yep.
Any other non-agenda? Yes, sir.
Just before I just want to give Hello everyone, my name is Ram Ray. As I live in Creekside community. Firstly, I want to thank Erica for bringing together the school board as well as Toll Brothers to resolve the Sunderland Avenue school bus issue. I'm one of the parents who is affected a lot for the last 2 years. And I have 2 daughters, 8-year and 6-year-old. And they have to go 1 mile just to get to the bus stop each day. So thanks a lot for bringing together. And I think the team is working to find a place where they can have the bus stop. Appreciate that. Secondly, I'm just sharing, I just shared one. As summer is coming, all the parents, I have to spend $65 for the summer camp per day on each kid, which means for 20 working days in a month, I'm supposed to spend, you can imagine, per day if it is 65, for 10 days, it's 6,500. So it's close to 1,300 per kid. So for 2 kids, it's 2,000 plus. This is per month. What happened was over the last 2 weeks, I was just going around to visit a couple of my friends. Monroe Township is one of the township where a couple of my friends live. What they have is the township organized, these summer camps. They charge $100 per month, per kid. And you can imagine how much that for a parent who is earning and how much amount they're spending on the kids. It's a huge saving, not only for the parents, but also it helps everybody in the community. But I thought it might be just worthwhile sharing that information. You know, this is like 100 kids, if they are in the community, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars, you know, within that summer time frame, which could be helpful for the parents, you know, where they could spend for something else, not only for that, for also the small businesses during the summertime. At the moment, I have enrolled my kids at, YMCA and Chestertown Sport Authority and all this. We have been searching for so many, and we had no choice except to enroll them on, by picking and, choosing, depending on me and my wife's schedule, 3 days per week. The rest, we are planning to work from home. That's a lot of money, so I just thought, there's something that these guys are doing. This is not the first time they're doing. It's been for a while. So I thought just sharing, maybe something we can do. May not be for this summer, but at least for future. There are hundreds of families who can be benefited with these kind of programs. So thank you for the opportunity to share this.
Thank you for presenting. I'm going to leave that with you. Any other comments from the audience? Harriet.
This Sunday afternoon from 2 until 4 at Welcome to the Green Valley's headquarters, there's going to be a open house. There is a cost. It's $10 for a family. There's some minor snacks, but anyway, lots of nice places to walk. The azaleas are still blooming, and lots of other plants are in lovely bloom. So you're welcome to come.
Thank you, Harriet. Any other comments?
I move to adjourn.
I'll second motion.
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you, folks, for coming out. Have a good evening. Can you jump on that idea? Thank you.
Resources.
Financial supervisor as of today.
Issue a letter to administration, we have a
On our township is?
What is your, you have your leadership.
You know how many residents we have?
Something else might be
Right around 5,000 people.
their neighbor's bar.
So actually, I don't find out.
Very nice, you did a great job.
Our township,
You
we
did
work with
a
our
great
workers.
job. That means a lot.
Larger the township, it dictates how many employees you have. In our township, it's only took for 18 years. Gravel roads, we have a larger public works department than some townships. We have no office It's a great idea. We got to see personnel wise. Make somebody.
You do have to look at the unique characteristics of the program. That does take into account not work in another, situation.
I thought that right too, when I just skated, take it over and read it. They don't have an extra copy.
It makes sense, it makes sense.
Good seeing you come into the meetings. You need to bring your neighbors. It's better than reality TV, come on.
Any day.
It's actually kind of boring these days. It used to be better than reality TV.
Every day is new. I look at everything. I go to you and say, I think there's a review. So I think that's,
She's your point person.
Yeah, I would expect